Hi there. Yes, I look like Harry Potter a little bit, but I think the scar's in the wrong way and the wrong shape, so I don't look anything like him at all. Kind of wish I didn't start the video with that. Anyway, moving forward. Just had a meeting with my 8-year-old school. I love them. They're amazing. They're just really brilliant human beings. And I had an experience that I wanted to share because I thought, wow, this really surprised me. So in the meeting was my daughter's teacher, speech therapist, and OT. Speechy and OT from the school, not specifically my daughter's personal therapists. And, my 8-year-old wears headphones during the day because she is sound sensitive, and the occupational therapist asked me, is it unreasonable that we attempt to have times where she's not wearing the headphones? And I said, not at all, absolutely, as long as she's okay with that and she's comfortable. And there were some questions asked about the use of the headphones, and I started to share our experience, our meaning, hers and mine, around sound, because we're quite similar in our sensory integration profile with sound. And it's this. Many people make the mistake of thinking that autistic people are sensitive to the volume of sound, how loud it is. It's also about tone, pitch, changes across environments, changes dependent on what other sounds are present when that sound plays or happens. But one of our greatest challenges in our family is the unpredictability of sound. So the headphones that my child wears is like a comfort blanket for her. It's not always specifically to cancel noise. So when I hear a sudden sound that I wasn't expecting, it shocks my body. It sends pain through my body from head to toe, and it confuses me. It stuns me for a bit. I then can't focus. I can't think. I've forgotten what I'm doing. It really claps me about. It's like somebody coming up and with both of their hands smacking me on the sides of my head really hard. It stuns me. Now, in the real world, there is unpredictable sound and noise everywhere all the time. And it can be really painful for autistic people, particularly when we experience pain in our bodies. And I explained this to the school OT, and she was surprised. She said, wow, thank you for sharing that experience. It's really helpful to know. And I was surprised because I thought, wow, I just assumed that professionals would know this. And it taught me that it's really important for us as autistic people and as parents to share what we know about our experience and what we know about our children's experiences, because they've relayed those experiences to us. I learned that I shouldn't assume that somebody knows something just because they're a professional. Because if there's one thing I know, it's that most of what professionals know is through textbooks and experience, of course. But the research that we have about autistic behaviour is from non-autistics observing our behaviour and comparing it to their own. So of course it would make sense that a non-autistic person would see somebody wearing headphones all the time and think that loud sounds disturb them. It's not just that. It's the spontaneity of sound sends pain through our bodies. So that brings me to my next point, which is, sometimes professionals or family or friends might say, or you might think as parents, We need to practice taking the headphones away so our child can adapt to sound. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. You wouldn't start teaching your child to ride a bicycle by taking away their training wheels and then hoping for the best, hoping that they'll just work it out. You know, our sensitivity or our sensory integration, it can change over time, absolutely. But that changes with the growth and rate of development, and that varies for each person. So, you know, we have to give our brains and our beings patience and time to develop. If we take away our child's headphones and force them into the world without them, what we're doing is making it harder for them to feel trust and safety in an environment and to adapt, because then they're using all of what they have to be able to cope at resisting pain from the unpredictability of sound and their sensitivity. And then they're burnt out because sound, after a day of sound, I mean, specifically sitting in a classroom without headphones, and that was me as a child, by the time you get to lunchtime, you're burnt out. I was burnt out. So this is why when we parent our children with autism acceptance, we understand that they are to be supported in order to grow. They are to be supported to be able to join their non-autistic peers and experience the world. They're better off to be allowed to use the headphones and other supports to be able to feel comfortable and safe and to adapt to their environment. Taking away those supports just traumatizes us. It really does, and it burns us out. It escalates, elevates, increases our anxiety and our fear, and over time that would have us refusing school or not being able to cope in those environments anymore. So it's really important to understand, and this is why, again, it's important to seek out information about autism from actual autistic people, because today was just one example of somebody who's studied at university and worked as a professional, and this is by no means an attack or blame on her. She's wonderful and fantastic at what she does, supports my child beautifully, and is an incredible human being who only wants to understand. But it's just an important lesson that the information that we really need about autism should come from autistic people, because we've lived it. It's our experience. And that's the end.